Hello, this is Maria from Maria's Ideas Art in Pittsburgh, PA, where we film our volunteer cable TV show that airs on BPTV and then on my YouTube channel, Maria's Ideas Art, and then BPTV has a YouTube channel as well. So 24/7 you can watch that. The tutorials for each episode are only here on my YouTube channel. Each one is about 10 minutes, and I show you how to draw the design that we paint during our show, which we film at Johno's art studio, which is my husband. He is also an artist, and that is his studio in the South Side Slope. So if you're ever in Pittsburgh, stop by. I produce the show with my friend and co-host Alan Levine. And anyway, that's it. So we're going to get started here. So we usually paint on 11 by 14 canvas panel, just for filming purposes. This is episode 29. We already filmed that, so this was my finished product. Looks a little duller, maybe the colors. I think the colors are a little bit brighter on the original, but this, I usually design each piece to kind of tell a story, or it's inspired by our special guests. We have a lot of guests that come in and also volunteer their time to just paint with us and tell us a little bit about what they do. So our friend was Desiree Vocalo from Local Good, and this is what she inspired me to do this. Lift each other up. We need art in the world, inspire each other. You know that vibe. So that's what we're doing here. So what I would like to show you here, a couple different ways you can draw on the canvas, whether it's a stretched canvas, paper, board, whatever you choose. Like I said, we use 11 by 14. You can use any size that you choose. What I did here, when we did each canvas, I drew the design first, printed it out, and then I used transfer carbon paper. It's like a carbon paper for people that are a little bit older. And what you do is you lay it underneath. If you want to draw it ahead of time, if you don't want to draw it directly on your canvas, you draw it on a piece of paper. You make sure you like everything the way it is. You can draw it the same size as your canvas. Then you take the transfer paper and then you trace over the design, and it transfers onto your canvas. The other way you can do that is what I'm going to show now, which is just to draw it directly on your canvas. If you don't want to draw it directly on your canvas, you can do these same steps on the paper and then transfer it on. So I'm just a reference here, pretend this is not already colored painted. So you can take any size, you could draw the design smaller too, and then transfer it to the design using this grid method. So this is the same design, same proportions. The key is the proportions. If you have a square design and you're transferring it to a rectangular shape, it's not going to work out as well. Okay, you want the same proportions. You can transfer this same design on a wall that's maybe 8 feet high, 10 feet wide, and it would work. So what you would do is fold the paper in half and then half again. So you have 16 squares or rectangles. So I'm just going to draw some lines here just so you can see. So this is on the design. Maybe you print out a photograph or something else that inspires you that you want to draw. This works with anything that you want to scale up or down, but usually you're making it bigger. So we have our 16 rectangles. Now this is a piece of paper. I'm drawing on here. Again, this is if you were going to draw it first and transfer it. But you could also pretend this is your actual canvas. You could take a watercolor pencil or a regular graphite pencil and draw. You can use chalk. Just use something to divide. If it's right on the canvas, you can measure, but I usually just kind of eyeball it in half and take that section in half again. Do this vertically. They don't have to be perfect. And then find your center point, horizontal. Okay. So again, we have the same number of rectangles as this. So what I'm going to do is refer to this. I'm going to pretend this was something I didn't create. I don't know, but don't steal anybody else's work, okay? I've had people steal my work. It doesn't feel good. Create your own, work from a photograph that you had taken or something like that. So let's see. So we're going to start with the center. And I should say also, so I drew these with, this is a color pencil. If you use a watercolor pencil directly on your canvas, that will reactivate when it gets hit with the water, when it mixes, and it will blend right back into your paint, so you won't see it. If you use a regular graphite pencil or regular watercolor pencil, just do it very lightly so that it fades away. You won't see it as much. I'm just doing this a little bit darker just so you can see it, okay? All right, so let's see. All right, so I'm going to start in the center. And what you want to do is just break things down into geometric shapes. All right, so I would say you may want to add more people, less people, make them bigger, smaller, whatever. I'm just going to play off of this. And let's see if I'll grab this, see if this will show up. If I create just some circles where each one of these heads are on this design, and I'm going to find that same spot on the canvas. So this one is slightly into this, to the left of the center. You can put a couple little marks here, here. It's roughly like that, okay? I'm going to make these darker again so you can see them better. And then just draw your circle. And again, this is all going to be lighter. I'm doing it darker so that you can see it. Is that focused? I think I need to check my, excuse me. There, it wasn't focused as well. Okay, so let's see, that's the one in the center. Then we have this one's just slightly up here. This one's a little bit bigger. Okay, do that one here. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. This is just giving you placement. This one, say, somewhere in here. And then this smaller one is to the left of the center, and it's about right in here. It's smaller. And this one's somewhere in there. Okay, so this represents the heads of each figure. Now what we want to do is we'll just add a couple little marks that represent, they have, can't see the neck on this one. Okay, so our little necks. Then on this center girl, I'm going to make a V shape. And I'm bringing out her sleeves. And then I'm just coming down like this. Okay, now the details get added in when we paint. This is our skirt, and then we have, so I'm not doing the arms yet, okay, because we want to get our heart up there first. Let's see, so this one, and then her hair, we have a little bit of her hair. This is, she's turned slightly, and again, we did these different colors. I made the faces pink and purple and orange. They could be anyone, any ethnicity, doesn't matter. These are, it's a very creative piece, and I wanted it to work for everyone and anyone. Okay, and she looks a little different than mine on there, and again, that's okay. So we can fix all this when we paint it. All right, so that's our one figure. Now we have this one. Arms again are up, and then big sleeves. Just, these are more stylized. We're not going for exact perfect images here. Again, this is just fun, whimsical art. Okay, so it's basically a triangle, and again, you can do the details whenever you paint it. Then this one, she has some cool big hair. There's not a bird in my studio. That's my phone. All right, so she has some cool hair, and I didn't put any faces. You could certainly put faces on them. Do whatever you choose. Anytime we paint, whether it's in my classes, I teach classes at the National Aviary, I teach at Little Sisters, I have corporate events and different things. I always suggest and encourage everyone to just do your own thing. Try not to make it look like mine, right? We're all different, and we can all just get creative with our art. Okay, so you could just see I'm doing a suggestion of the hair. So we already have 3 figures. So again, I'm just referring back to this design for the placement of everything. Now let's see, we have 2 more here. So this one, I would say, I would do her hair first. And her hair comes down, it's along this line. It's a little bit longer than this horizontal line. Okay, so it's somewhere, that's her hair, okay? And then this is her, little bit of her face. They have big flowy sleeves because why not? It's just fun. Okay, and then this one has shorter hair, kind of a little spiky maybe. All right, and then so I'm just laying in these figures, and then we'll work on the arms. Okay, and this one. Okay, so we have our figures. I'm going to grab another color pencil because that other one is wearing out. So we have our figures. Now I want to get an idea of how far up. This one hand, really long arms. Her hand's probably like up into here. So I know I want that heart. The heart that's here. It's slightly off center. It's a little more interesting if things aren't always perfectly centered, in my opinion, since this is not all symmetrical here anyway. So let's see. I'm going to put to the left about 1/2 inch to the left of this center line on the top row, a little mark here. And then I'm going to come over about 1 inch in and about 1 inch up and just put a mark there. And then this one is almost halfway over, and our little peak, the little point of our heart is about halfway down between this one. So what you would do is just zoom in. I'm looking between these 2 lines. It's about halfway, and then it's about a little less than 1/2 inch over. So again, just some reference points, okay? And all you have to do is look at the places of these. So I'm looking at this point, just the outer edges. And then just connect the dots. And then you have your heart. Again, when you paint it, you can change the shape a little or get a little more creative with it, but that's your heart. Now that we have the placement of the heart, this arm, we're not worried about hands and fingers or anything like that. We're just bringing this arm up, almost like they have little mittens on. And just do something like that. You can do wider arms, you can do bigger arms, you do whatever you want. This is how I did this one. Okay, so there's that one. And then everybody needs their arms. So just put those here, this on top of this one. And again, I'm looking up at my reference design here. And then this one, the hand's up about not quite 1 inch about there. This arm goes off the edge of the canvas. So you see how easy this is. A lot of people get intimidated whenever you're drawing figures, but if you keep them more whimsical and fun, more stylized, it's no big deal. Okay, just have fun with it. It's art. It doesn't have to be like a photographic design, photographic realistic image. It just doesn't. Okay, you could just get a photograph if you wanted to. We're creating art and just making it our own. Okay, so now we have our figures with all of their arms. We have the heart, and then this one is I have holding a heart, and you'll see it's a little bit, maybe slightly off than the other one, but that's okay. Okay, so there we have our design. So if this was on your canvas, you already have your design, you could start painting. Oop, I forgot the ground. This kind of like, you know, they're out in a meadow or somewhere. So that's this is all that's the green area here. Okay, so there's our design. If you drew it on paper, get your transfer paper. You could also take a graphite pencil and just, if you can't see through the paper, if you did it on paper, you can hold up the window and go like this with a pencil. That also adds the graphite. Sometimes chalk works too. And then you lay it down on your canvas, and then you trace. Let me see if this will work if I did that dark enough. You see how it transferred? It didn't. Let me press it a little bit harder so that you could see the camera, and it transferred right to there. Okay, so that's it. So I hope you come back and watch more of our shows. We have more exciting guests coming up. The National Aviary is going to be back, and some other guests that we have not had on yet. So this is episode 29, 2025. So we have 29 episodes for you to watch and enjoy and have fun, and hopefully it inspires you to keep creating and painting. So thank you for joining us. Okay, happy painting.